we are still on the continent of Africa, and we would be touching diasporas soon. Now, I mean, you've observed the recent happenings in the west of African countries like Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and the leadership that is in the hands of the young people. What would you think, or would is it correct for one to say? I mean, the spirit of visionaries with an agenda, with a clear for Africa, that Africans are actually getting it, that they're understanding it?
You know, when there were these changes in Burkina, in Mali, in Guinea, there are those who are quick to condemn, including ECOWAS, which has now backtracked and has removed the sanctions that were imposed on Niger, Burkina, and Mali. And they said that this was a disruption of democratic regimes. What they did not realize is that the people in those countries were angry and annoyed at the leadership, which was exploitative, which was insensitive, and that therefore when these changes took place, they saw them as revolutions. And on the basis of the evidence that we now have, in the face of many difficulties, when you look at Burkina Faso, the government in Ouagadougou is making decisions that are people-centric. The administration in Guinea is making decisions that are people-centric. The government in Bamako, and I'll be in Bamako in the next 2 weeks, are making decisions that are people-centric. And that is what Africa is asking for, because many Africans have now come to recognize that these periodic 4-year SACO elections or 5-year SACO elections are rigged and manipulated, so that the populations have become helpless, and they now know. And you remember, not so long ago when I was a student, there was a leader in Latin America called Anastasio Somoza. When he lost the election and his opponent told him, "You've lost the elections," he said, "Yes, I've lost the elections, but I've won the count." Many African so-called leaders win the count rather than the elections. And if therefore we trust these imported and inherited so-called democracy, then the countries will not realize their potential. In a nutshell, I'm saying what we want to do is to encourage changes. The desired change should be changes that are participatory. But if there is a need for disruption for the purpose of restoring order, as we have seen in the Sahelian countries, so be it. Because it is necessary, as we have seen with Burkina Faso, with Mali and Guinea, that sometimes you've got to take action that entail the cutting of the umbilical cord with the former enslaver, so that you are truly free. This is what Malcolm X used to say: distinction between the house Negro and the field Negro. And many African countries are now saying, we are tired of being house Negroes. We want to be field Negroes. So let us see how these revolutions take us and how far they will change the game. But remember that all human beings are liable to abuse power.
Yes.
So the people in those countries must be eternally vigilant, so that when the leaders are going off track and off rail, they are called to order. And we in the continent will be equally vigilant with them.